Hello everyone, welcome to Move Well, Live Well. We've been getting a number of people coming in here with issues regarding their Achilles tendon. And so that's the big tendon that connects the calf muscle to the heel bone here and allows you to do all kinds of movements with your foot, primarily plantar flexion. So they're getting tendinitis and or tendinosis in that particular tendon in there. Now, sometimes a lot of people get confused between tendinitis. Now, tendinitis is inflammation of the tendon. It could be any tendon, and it's usually acute. In other words, it just happened. It's a sudden trauma that happened to that tendon complex, and you have inflammation and swelling in through there. Tendonosis, which is also known as a tendonopathy, is a recurring problem. It's actually kind of degenerative. It's from overuse of that particular tendon, and that tendon is now starting to degenerate in there because of repetitive overuse, and it's becoming a chronic problem. So that's the difference between tendinitis and tendinopathy or tendinosis. So what's happening here in the calf, the Achilles tendon in through here, it could either be an acute injury, so tendinitis, or it could be a recurring injury. It's repetitive and it's becoming a tendinopathy or tendinosis in there. And what we're finding with some of these folks is that they're not paying attention to what's above or what's attached to the tendon. Remember, the tendon just attaches the muscle to the bone, and they're forgetting that a lot of the issue that's happening, that's happening is up in here in the calf itself. So we're talking about, you talk about the gastrocnemius muscle, which is the outermost muscle here. You can kind of see that here on me, that calf muscle. So that's the gastroc, and underneath that is the soleus. That would be this guy in here. That's underneath that. It's actually bigger. It spans underneath that from way down here up into here. That's the soleus muscle underneath there. But then we forget all the little guys. We forget the peroneals, the peroneal muscle, which are over here. The peroneals on the outside part of the calf. Forget the peroneals. And then we also forget the posterior tibialis posterior, right in through here. That can get pretty nasty in through there. So we're starting to see spasm, a lot of myofascial type of issues in these muscles of the calf. And if you have those issues, it pulls on these tendons abnormally, and then the tendon gets overused and overworked. So how do you fix that? How do you fix these muscles in here so that way the tendon itself can do what it's supposed to do, and the muscles can do what they're supposed to do, instead of them being all bound up and junky in there, and the tissue surfaces no longer glide over each other anymore. The muscle and the fascia get stuck, and even against the skin they get stuck, so then when you contract, they don't glide anymore. How do you fix that? Well, one thing to do would be to grab your good old lacrosse ball. So you take your good old lacrosse ball in here, and then you guys can see my sexy legs again. And then you're right here on the peroneals. I recommend usually starting distally and work your way proximally, so far away to closer. So that way you promote good circulation in through there. If you can see this here, just like this, and you search around, find those tight, tender spots, tender bits, like right there. There's a good tender bit right there, and I'm just holding this down. I'm not pushing down on it very hard, but I could just the weight of my leg here on that area. These are the peroneals I'm working on. This is the outside part of my lower leg here, my calf. Those peroneals are pretty nasty, and I can just go in here and work these guys. I can oscillate with the fibers, so going up and down, oscillating up and down, or I can do cross friction across just like that. So I can go with the fibers, I can go against the fibers, just like that. Again, these are the peroneals. And work these 3 to 5 minutes. Or if you want, you can just hang out on one spot that's very, very tender, and you can create a stretch in that particular spot. Again, so this is the lacrosse ball here. If my fingers are like a muscle, and I put the ball underneath that and I let gravity just push into that, you can kind of see my fingers bending around the ball. You're creating a stretch, a pinpoint stretch in that area that's tight and tender. So you see that? So that's the idea by using the crossball. You really get into that spot that's giving you a problem. So back and forth, just like this. Again, you can go with the muscle fibers, you can go against them. And again, you want to work this 3 to 5 minutes. Again, don't sit here in total discomfort. This should be a relaxing, relatively relaxing, depending on how tender these are. They can be very, very tender, but it should be a relaxing technique, relaxing treatment to loosen up those areas of your calf. And then, so then how do you loosen up the ones over here on this side? You take this and then you're gonna actually have to push into here. You're gonna have to actually push into the tissue itself. So, right in there. And this is my shin bone, right? This is the tibia. And just on, right in through here, just outside of the tibia right there, ooh, there's some really tender spots in there. Again, start distally and work your way proximally. So start your way forward and work your way up to promote that. See right there, that's a good tender spot here, right there. And I can just kind of oscillate back and forth. This is with the fibers, or I can go a little bit against the fibers, just like this, back and forth this way. So again, with the fibers is this way, and against them is back and forth like this. So now that we've covered, you know, the ones, the peroneals on this side and then the posterior tibialis, you can kind of get to right in through here. You can kind of get in there. Now you can work the soleus, which is deep. Now you can get right here. This is the gastroc. You can kind of see that's the gastroc right there. And then you can kind of underneath that gastroc start working those guys in there. So again, working distally, proximally. If you want, you can right in there, the calf. And I like to tell folks to kind of do the ABCs as you do this. So you can do A, write the ABCs with your foot, B, C. Once you find those spots in through there, and again, work your way up. And then as you get into the gastrocnemius, you can feel some of the, right there, that's a really tender spot right there for me in the gastrocnemius. Again, work the ABCs in through there. So, this is a great tool to use on your calf, getting some of those harder to reach areas in your calf to help alleviate those issues such as tendinitis, Achilles tendonitis, tendonosis, and tendinopathy. Because what's happening is what we're seeing is that we forget that we focus on the problem where it's at, but we forget everything that's attached to it above. So we miss all this stuff. If we can clean up, unglue, if you will, this stuff up here, the forces that are being applied to the connection down here are going to be that much more improved, and thereby decreasing the the symptoms and or alleviating the symptoms of Achilles tendonitis, tendinopathy, and or tendinosis. If you have any questions with this video, please leave them down in the comment section below. We thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and share so that other people can benefit from this information. Also, when you hit subscribe, make sure you hit that notifications, that bell notifications button, so that way you don't miss any videos here in the near future. Again, we thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.